week on Tuesday, December the 2nd. Uh, Let me just tell you what the show's going to be like today. Can I do that, Ben McKee? Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Um, Today's show's going to be uncomfortable. Today's show is going to be fair. It is going to be what it always has been. To be honest, leading up to this game Saturday, we said, you better not lose this one. Because recent history has told us you lose this one, man, against your rival. People demand changes. And then they should. And there needs to be. But my man Ben McKee, you deserve the floor first. And stories in the past, but we've been at the same crossroads. I think we both can agree there that we've been at the same crossroads, and this program is at a crossroads. And there's work to be done. But Ben, just give me your overall thoughts on the game, and then we'll get right to it. The Beatty Chevrolet text box is open for you. You can call, you can text comments, questions. The Guards of Law hotline 865-255-03. It's open, and we'll do our best to, get to our great callers. But we got to have a conversation today, Ben McKee. Good morning.
Good morning again. Hope you and yours are well. Hope everybody listening is doing well. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving and was able to spend time with their loved ones and eat plenty of good food. I'll go ahead and give a birthday shout out to my mama. Her birthday is tomorrow, so we won't speak again until Thursday. So shouts out to Mama McKee. Happy early birthday. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, there's nothing pleasant about watching that Tennessee football team in the second half. And simply put, Vanderbilt is a better football team than Tennessee. And while this is not the same Vanderbilt team that we saw Derek Dooley lose to, Butch Jones lose to, Jeremy Pruitt lose to, it's still not okay. And it does, even if you can respect Vanderbilt and what it has built, what Clark Lee has built, you give a lot of credit to the athletic director, Candace Lee Story. You give even more credit, I think, to Diego Pavia, because as much as you give credit to the head coach and the athletic director, I think their quarterback has done a lot of the heavy lifting by his play on the field to really expedite the process. But while you're able to change a program, and we'll see if they can sustain it long term, it seems like they are investing to where they'll have at least have the potential to do so. But while you can respect what they have built on one hand, it's just not okay when you are the state university and you are embarrassed the way that you were embarrassed in the second half. And it brings exactly what you said into play, and that is that Tennessee is a crossroads. Now, you mentioned that we have seen this before. I don't know it's to the extreme that it was under the previous three head coaches, but there's no doubt that Josh Heupel is at a fork in the road, that changes need to be made, discussions need to be had, and I think I think the changes that really need to be considered were on full display in that second half. The defense performance was just abysmal. That Vanderbilt offense is really good, but man, you just had absolutely no answer for what Vanderbilt was doing. The only time you stopped Vanderbilt was when Diego Pavia tried to do too much in the first half and threw two red zone interceptions. I mean, outside of those two plays, you weren't able to defend Vanderbilt's offense whatsoever. You made zero adjustments. Your personnel flaws were on full display, and then you even saw the offensive issues come into play as well. Some of the issues that have plagued the offense throughout the season, just the inconsistent play along the line of scrimmage, the inability to really establish the run, which was weird because you established the run in the first quarter, and then John Bishop gets 6 carries for 5 yards or whatever it was in the second half. And even Bishop seemed to be frustrated post game because I asked him about what went wrong with the run game, and he I'm paraphrasing, but he said that we went away from the running game. I only finished with 6 carries or whatever. I thought that was a pretty telling comment. And at the end of the day, the biggest issue, I know that you have talked about it a bunch. We've kind of danced around it the last couple of weeks, but Vanderbilt punked Tennessee in the second half. Vanderbilt, mostly Diego Pavia, talked all off season long. Comments came out from last season on the Netflix special about what Pavia and Vanderbilt was going to do to Tennessee, and they're making this comment about running the state, that comment about doing this and that to Tennessee, and they came into your building on senior day and they did it, and there was just no response. There was no jabs, no punches thrown back at Vanderbilt. While, as the rap song goes, they walked in your trap and took over your trap, and you did not do a single thing about it. And I think that was the most disappointing thing in the second half. The execution is one thing, the personnel discussions are one thing, but for them to just walk in and bully you and you just not and you just sit there and take it, I thought was the most disappointing part, because as we have had plenty of playful and fun discussions, that is a rivalry game, to at least a certain extent, and you did not put up the fight necessary to withstand what they were trying to do to you. So it certainly brings into play a very uncomfortable offseason of where I do still believe in Josh Heupel. I think that he is absolutely capable of getting things turned around because I think he is a good football coach. But I think that's probably the question that this past Saturday brings into play is has Tennessee plateaued under Josh Heupel? Have they hit the ceiling under Josh Heupel? I'm not totally convinced that they have, but that's going to be the hot topic question this offseason, and we'll see if he's willing to make the changes necessary. That some question whether he has the killer instinct to make the necessary changes this offseason.
I mean, first I give credit to Vanderbilt for how they played. Um, over the years, I made fun of Vanderbilt. They deserved it because they didn't take football serious, and it was me really defending those players who worked hard, who put in the time and grinded, and they didn't get the support from the university and the administration. And over the last couple of years, you mentioned um, Candace Story and the job that she has done. And on Saturday, I walked past her and I was like, Bob Jones. And she's like, what? It's like, hey, Jason Swain, I went to Grissom. So I officially introduced myself to her. And
I didn't know she went to Bob Jones.
yep, she went to Bob Jones. And so I first want to give credit to those guys. Bart Simmons, who's having this program all the time, worked for 247 Sports, the job that he's done with evaluating talent and help building that roster. Clark Lee, the mindset change that they have had there at Vanderbilt. So you give those guys credit, 100%. With that being said, the Tennessee football program is soft. Period, point blank. There's no reason to dance around it. There's no reason to lie. We are soft. It's not debatable. I'm not going to argue with anybody about it. Tennessee's program is soft. from discipline. There's been plenty of examples of that over the last couple of years. This year's example is Boo Carter. We are mentally not tough enough. What does that mean? Not beating yourselves, not doing stupid stuff that costs your team when you're a little bit tired. Last 5 years, the penalties in the SEC. This was the best year for Tennessee in terms of penalties. The first year, Tennessee was 11th in the SEC in penalties. 2022 was last in the conference. 2023, last in the conference. 2024 was the first year that Texas-Oklahoma entered the league, and we were 14th in the league. If they wouldn't have entered the league, we would have been last again. This year was the first year where we were 6th, averaging 12th in the SEC per year. So discipline continues to be an issue. The penalty rankings back it up. Against good teams this year, we haven't done anything. Our only win versus a winning team was against ETSU. We haven't done diddly poo against anyone who matters.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought that up because I meant to bring that up in my diatribe that the last 2 years, Tennessee's record against 500 teams it's not pretty. It's not pretty when you look at the opponent's record. If you added up the opponent's record of the teams that Tennessee has beaten the last 2 years, it is not pretty. And when I say this, I'm not at all advocating for change with the head coach because I'm not at all. I think Josh Heupel deserves a chance this offseason to make potentially the correct changes. But the retort that you hear from national media members when the Josh Heupel discussion is brought up, if a Tennessee fan vents their frustrations, is, well, look at the 8, 9, 10-win seasons that he's had, and look what you were before Josh Heupel. And that's fair to be brought up until you look at the opponent's record.
We're not doing that.
Correct. And I'm not saying that I'm doing that. I'm just saying you hear people. That's what people outside of Knoxville will tell Tennessee fans about Josh Heupel is appreciate what you have because of what you had before, which is a fair thing to say. But Tennessee fans are not. My point is Tennessee fans are not being unreasonable because you look at the overall opponent's record when you add up the record of all the teams that Tennessee has beaten, and it's not pretty. It's actually very discouraging. And not only, I mean, you just said it. Tennessee beat one team that is headed to a bowl game this year, and that was ETSU, and that's an FCS team. That tells you all you need to know, I think.
Yeah, today I don't really give a damn what national media folks got to say. We in the trenches. We follow this stuff every single day. There's stuff that we know about this program they don't know. I think the national media embarrassed themselves over the weekend, especially on ESPN. And I got a lot of respect for those guys on ESPN, and I watch all the time. And they do a great job most of the time, 99% of the time. But for them to get on TV and lobby for Lane Kiffin to continue to coach Ole Miss despite leaving to go LSU was some of the worst commentary I've ever heard in my life. So
while encouraging,
I don't want to go down that road about what happened. I'm just giving you an example that we're not listening to the national media about this particular topic.
No, and I was just trying to emphasize what you brought up about the opposing team's records and the fact that Tennessee only beat one team that is headed to a bowl game. I was just trying to emphasize and give more credence to what you were saying because that's pretty damning, quite frankly.
It is. I just didn't want to go down a rabbit hole on that. But, yeah, like we have eyeballs. You have eyeballs. I have eyeballs. We all have eyeballs. So we don't need the narrative to be flipped and changed and finagled. We see what we see. We see a football program that's soft. We see a football program that lacks the talent and the edge that's needed to win and compete the way we need to compete for the last couple of years. We have seen We have not seen a football team anywhere close to 2022. Not even close. Okay? And that is an issue. Um, we have on this program have talked about when maybe others did not, talked about, hey man, offensive line development ain't where it needs to be. Recruiting ain't where it needs to be. And then we'll get pushed back, hey, well, look at this and look at that. I'm going, okay, just wait. And here we are full circle. You have offensive line, they got pushed around. You have a defensive line, they got pushed around. You have defensive players that are nowhere to be found when Diego Pavia was looking for a defender while running 471 yards. He was looking.
Oh, you can find them. They're on the complete opposite side of the field because they read the play wrong.
Yeah. So he was looking for defenders. Couldn't find any while he was going for 171 yards. While he Heisman posed in your stadium. The grounds crew and then State, they do a great job, man. They do an awesome job making sure our fields are fast and green and I mean, I watched them after the game, man. They're blowing all the thatch off the field, and I haven't seen another SEC team grounds crew do it, after the game this season. And that's their job, man, to protect the grass. What their job is not is to protect the power tee, preventing the opposing team from planting a flag. You know whose job that is? It's the damn team's job. It's their job to protect the power tee. And this performance was not anywhere close to protecting the power tee. This was embarrassing. 7 out of 10 on third downs, Vanderbilt was. The performance was inexcusable. The performance was unacceptable. The performance was embarrassing, period, point blank. And so no national media should be telling Tennessee fans how to feel, okay, at all. Like, nobody want to hear what you got to say, national media. Tennessee fans have a rightful reason to be upset, to be frustrated, because they are asked to do more, to pay more, to sacrifice more, to invest more, and this is the product that they got on Saturday night. And it's unacceptable. Look around, Ben McKee. The league is getting harder. Other folks have shown that they're serious about winning. Whether or not they win or not, I don't know. But look around the league. Kentucky said they tired of being sick and tired. They hired a new coach in Will Stein coming from Oregon. Florida, I thought, made a great hire with John Summerall, and they're going to bring in a former NFL GM to manage the roster. Oklahoma ain't sorry like they were last year. They have a GM with NFL ties. They have flipped the roster. You look at Texas A&M, Mike Elko. They're not going anywhere. They're tough as nails down there in College Station. LSU's made a move. Lane Kiffin, he's going to win there. He's a good coach. Is he annoying? Yes. Does he do everything right? No, but he's going to win. Golish at Auburn. They won't be sorry like they were with Hugh Freeze. They'll be better. I don't know how good they'll be. So my point is, look around. The league is getting better, my man. And Josh Heupel will have to make some tough decisions. And we can sit here and point the finger at Tim Banks and say fire Tim Banks. I think that's surface level, Ben. I just think that's low hanging fruit. I think that's easy to sit here and talk about how bad the defense is and talk about how you got fired Tim Banks. This is about Josh Heupel. This is about Josh Heupel having to make the changes with some personnel and philosophy-wise. This is about Josh Heupel. I like Josh Heupel. I want him to be the coach here a very long time. I think he can make the changes. I don't know if he's going to. I don't know if he can. I don't know that. I just know that he has to. if he's going to win more than he has in the last 3 years. And I don't really care about what it was before Josh Heupel because I'm not going to sit here and compare Josh Heupel to Jeremy Pruitt. Like, we should have never hired Jeremy Pruitt. We should never hire Butch Jones. We should never hire Derek Dooley. So don't be talking to me about, and I'm not talking to you, Ben McKee. I'm just saying in general. Don't be, well, don't forget what it was before Josh Heupel. I'm not comparing Josh Heupel to Jeremy Pruitt. And I'm not going to be satisfied with our team going out there and embarrassing everybody against Vanderbilt on Saturday night. That's unacceptable. We're not accepting that. So don't try to throw that, well, what about before Josh Heupel? Don't forget about that. Don't throw that in our face. Don't try to make us accept what we saw on Saturday. Don't try to make us accept a soft football program because you can't be soft. You're asking these fans to pay more money in ticket prices. You're asking these fans to travel and pay more money with hotels and more money with food. It's not fair to them. It's not. So, national media, have several seats.
Yes. And again, my point in bringing that up was just to emphasize the the fact that Tennessee has not beaten anybody
I get it. I get it.
but Alabama the last 2 years. But there's no doubt that changes need to be made, and I'm kind of waiting to form my opinion on Josh Heupel, my long term opinion on Josh Heupel, and until I see how he moves over the next month or two, because I don't think we can sit here on December 2nd before he has made any moves or not and say that and I'm not talking to you, but can say, oh, he's going to work out long term. Oh, he's not going to work out long term. I think the next month or two will give you hints or give you some answer to those questions. If he sits on his hands this month and early next month when the portal opens, then that would obviously be a very discouraging sign of things to come because this cannot continue to remain the same. But what if he does make the changes necessary at defensive coordinator and with other people on staff and goes out and makes great hires? Then obviously you're going to feel better about the future of the program. And I kind of think the whole needing to change philosophies as much as you need to change personnel. I kind of think that goes hand in hand to a certain extent. So if he executes that this month, then I think that would potentially make you feel better about the long term outlook of the program. So I'm kind of in wait and see mode um, on Josh Heupel. I do wonder if, as I mentioned earlier, and you also mentioned it, like does he is he willing to cut bait with people? Is he willing to make the hard decisions? Because up until this point in his tenure at Tennessee, he has not done so. So is he going to change now? He needs to. Will he? We will see. I would kind of be surprised if after signing day, which is tomorrow, if we did not see some changes. I would be surprised. Josh Heupel is too smart, too good of a football coach to just sit on his hands. And I know just in conversations I've had with my friends, people question and really don't believe that he is going to make changes and are kind of in believe it in when they see it mode. And I don't at all blame those people, but I just think it was so obvious that changes need to be made, and he's too smart, too good of a football coach to just watch that and be content going forward. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see some changes after signing day.
Well,
And my thing is like, what's weird is like outside of Tim Banks, like you mentioned, we haven't seen the same football team as 2022, and we haven't at all. But the same strength coach was in place. The same offensive line coach was in place. The same defensive coordinator was in place. The same defensive line the O-line coach and the D-line coach were the same coaches in 22 as they were in 25. Like it's this, in terms of staff, it's the same personnel. It's pretty much the same support staff off the field as well. So like, what changed from 22 to 25? Like, to me, that's as mystifying as anything.
It's not mystifying. It's your edge.
How so?
And you got complacent. You had early success in 22 with Pruitt's players that he brought in, that he identified as being SEC caliber players. They became your players once you became the head coach, but they did the heavy lifting and bringing them in. And so in 22, you had early success. We had early success. And we got complacent. We lost our edge and thought that, oh, this is the way it's going to be moving forward. And no, it's not. Because the same things you do to get to a certain level, it's the same things you have to do to maintain that level. And we had not done that. So we lost edge. We became soft. Soft. As simple as that. We haven't done a good job in evaluating talent in all areas, all positions. There's been certain times when we haven't done a good job. Now, defensive line, we've done a good job. But there's been examples all over the board where we haven't done a good job evaluating. And so there's so many little fires for Josh Heupel. I don't really know what he's going to do and if he's going to handle business. I don't know that. All I can say is I hope he does, because I do want him to be the coach. But I know this. If he does not handle business and take a page from Florida's new coach, John Summerall, when he was asked about hiring his friends. And John said, I've lost some friends. I don't hire my friends. He's going to have to make some tough decisions, because if he does not, the schedule next year is double as hard as the schedule the last 2 years. The last 2 years, the schedule has been a cakewalk when you think about a normal SEC schedule.
You will not walk out with 8 or 9 wins.
You will be lucky to go 7-5 if this mentality of this football program does not change.
Yep.
It starts with Josh Heupel. Like, his mentality has to change. Like, he's super nice, man. Like, he's super nice. He's a super good dude. But his personality has rubbed off on this football team, and they're too nice. They're not mean enough. They don't play with an edge. They're not tough at all. And I don't blame our players, because our players are doing what they're told to do. Our players are doing what they're coached to do. So I'm not going to sit here and blame any players. I'm not. I mean, this is really about the top dog, and that's Coach Heupel. Like, he has to make those changes. He has to make those decisions. And people can look at just the defense coordinator. To me, it's deeper than that. I look at our strength and conditioning staff, who spend the most time with our players. Our players, they don't have the edge. They don't have the toughness needed. That doesn't mean that they're not tough individually. That doesn't mean that they'll shy away from a fist fight in the alley. But to play football in this conference, we lack the toughness to win against good opponents when it matters. I'm going to the phones. 865-250-503. Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Good morning, Turkey Man.
Hey, guys. I'm going to be quick this morning. I can go for a while, and
go for it.
I'm going to be quick. I think we put all this in one little envelope here. When Vanderbilt takes you to Woodshed, and they're a 10-2 team, and we don't have enough clout in what we've done that they take you to Woodshed and they can't get in the playoffs after beating the tar out of you. That'll tell you how much they look at you and what you accomplished. And, I think that Vanderbilt said what they're going to do, and they did it.
Yep.
But we got a lot of work to do, brother, and we're soft. And this is the first time, and since I was 12 years old, I started watching Tennessee football, and I couldn't get it pulled up on TV, and so I listened to it on the radio. and I turned it off. And I've never done that.
Mm.
I was sick. I was sick over it.
Mm.
I mean, it was awful. And I had some good smoked stuff, brother, and I smoked some bologna. I loved it. But I was sick of my stomach, man. I'll talk to you later, guys.
See you, Turkey, man. Thanks for the phone call. Let's keep it rolling. Good morning.
Good morning, Jay Swizzle. Good morning, Benjamin.
Oh, Big Orange Mac. I know you got some things on your chest. Let it rip.
I got a lot on my chest. You know, back in the summer, Chris Doring put out a statement said Tennessee football is soft.
Mm-hmm.
And you wrong. Hey, you know what? He's 110% right.
Mm-hmm.
They are softer than baby doo-doo.
Yeah, we're
soft. I seen no energy, and Vanderbilt did what they said they was going to do. They came in here and took over your trap. They dog walk you, and you quit.
Mac.
Never in my
Mac.
Yes.
They tried to embarrass you at the end of the game. They were up three scores, and the first play of the last possession was a pass. They were about to put 50 on your ass.
They wanted a 50 burger, and they was going to allow it, Jay. They was going to sit there and let them do that. No heart, no effort. Josh, I love you, but if you want to save yourself, you've got to cut loose some of the dead weight. You got to let your friends go. At the end of the day, it's a business decision. Ain't no hard feelings. You got to think about yourself and your family, saving yourself. Ain't no when you're done coaching and you retired and you want to make amends with your old buddies that you cut loose at the University of Tennessee, y'all can sit on the front porch, hash it out, have a couple beers, and be done with it. But right now, you have got to cut these people loose. Let them go, because they dragging you down, son. Let these people go. The changes has got to be made. You've got to make them. You've got to find. Look, I know he's kind of a low key, passive guy. Like I said, he's a good dude. But you have got to find your inner gunnery sergeant Hartman full metal jacket drill sergeant inside you, or go hire somebody that can do that. Because that mess that I witnessed, that I spent all week busting my butt to make the extra gas money, to drive up there, to buy food, this, that, and the third, everything you do on game day, to go
Still there?
quit.
Oh.
And to the fan, it ain't worth driving up there to see that mess. Sorry, guys. I mean, you got to be real. Oh, they're kids. I'm sorry. There's kids their age that's in the military, that's working on construction sites. They getting yelled and cussed at every day. It's time to grow up, men. I'm so frustrated. Tim Banks has got to go. He ain't the only one that he needs to get shed of. That was embarrassing to get skull drugged, and that little 5'4" Kimu Baker Mayfield just oh my God! I ain't taking the young man. He's got the juice. They fed off of him. We didn't have it. We ain't got nobody like that on our team. Nobody. And I tell you this, he's 5'4", but he's got a 6'8" heart. He do. I give it to the boy. We ain't got that. Start caring about this team like everybody else. There were 102,000 people that cared about that football team more than the people on the football team. That's a damn shame. Damn shame. And I seen a video of an old man get into it with the Pavia family. He had more fight in him than the football team. That's a damn shame. Damn shame. Jason, jamming. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I love y'all. I got to get out of here and go to work. Y'all have a great day, and as always, go Big Orange.
All right, man. Good to hear from you. And don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. That was bad. All right, Ben, you ready for another phone call? All right, good morning.
Good morning, guys. It's Mr. Duvall.
What's up, Mr. Vault?
I'm with Big Orange Mac, man. I turned the game off after they scored there. No, I didn't. I turned it back because I started watching another game. But that last drive, Vanderbilt did, when all they had to do was take a knee. They tried to literally go score more points if we allowed them to. Only thing stopped them from scoring again was time. And it hurt so bad that my wife was like, "You all right?" I said, I ain't never seen so much softness on a football field. And later on that night, I watched the Alabama-Auburn game. And this when you talk about strength and conditioning program. It was a bunch of grown men on that field. And it was impressive to watch. After I watched what Tennessee has done all year, being soft, then to watch that Alabama-Auburn game showed me how far away we are as a going to start their own. But Josh Heupel got to make that decision, Swain. And if he don't, he's going to lose a lot in his fan base because it's going to be a hard pill to swallow if he brings that style back out there next year. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Tim Banks, good guy. He's got to go. We've been talking about Tim Banks. Out of 5 years, he's had maybe 2 good seasons, decent seasons. Last year was, we played a pretty easy schedule, SEC standards. But strength and conditioning, Ellaby, I'm hearing, get your offensive coordinator and you do what Dabo did. Dabo stepped away and said, you know what, do what Lane Kiffin did. Give somebody else the duties. You be the CEO. Some stuff got to change. He got to get somebody like Alex Golders back in there that's hard on those guys. We ain't been as hard as since Golders left. We didn't have that fear factor in the coaching staff. I'm going to hang up and listen.
Thank you, Mr. Bivol. That's why I'm not really spending much time on Tim Banks because I think that's low-hanging fruit. And it's okay for anybody to criticize Tim Banks and say he has to go. That's fine. Like I can't defend Tim Banks. I have in the past because I truly believe that this offense has put the defensive coordinator, in a bind with our style of play, which is why you don't see a ton of it around the country as much as we did it, because it puts your defense in a disadvantage at times. Unless you get up by a lot of points early, it's tough on your defense. And so the personnel first year for Tim Banks wasn't good enough. Second year wasn't good enough. And then it got better. And then, hey, you know what? The defense is better than the offense in 2023. The defense is better than the offense in 2024. And there was times this year the defense had to save the offense, especially at Mississippi State game. But the defense hasn't been good enough this year. There's no excuse. There's no explanation for being last in the SEC. I'm not going to defend Tim Banks, but I do think it's low-hanging fruit. But the strength and conditioning program is an issue. Ben, do you know how many players for Vanderbilt got hurt and went out of the game because of injury? Or got hurt and had to go out and leave the game?
No.
0. Tennessee, you want to guess how many we had?
Several.
Oh, yeah. I counted 5. 5 guys where he had to stop play and a trainer had to go out there to escort a player off the football field. And listen, you're going to have players get hurt even when you're the toughest team in the country. It's violent. It's part of the game. But my goodness, the optics. 865-255-03. Beatty Chevrolet text box. Let's get to it. So uncomfortable, man. This is so uncomfortable. Shouldn't even be having this conversation. But here we are. In Nelson 90, now that the season is over, is it safe to say that that last offseason was the worst in recent history? Feels like we had a chance to elevate the program, but got comfortable and let guys like Nico, Boo, etc., hold them hostage and create a bad situation on and off the field. And now other SEC programs in the SEC have passed us by. Well, Texas A&M has passed us by. I think you have to kind of wait and see about some of the other teams, but yeah, A&M has. The Nico situation for me was a red flag, Ben, because if you're Josh Heupel, you ain't supposed to let that happen. Like you supposed to be checking dad at the door. Like Big Nick ain't the only dad in the history of football that's acted that way. Quarterback dads are like dance team moms. You gotta check them. You gotta have the personality to check them. Yeah, we want you, but this is what it's gonna be if you here, and if you ain't doing what we ask you to do, or if you're not in between the lines, you can go. You gotta have that type of stance. You can't be weak and allow parents to think they're running the show. You run the show. You're the head coach. And so Big Nick was feeling himself. He got confidence. And Nico started feeling the same way. He got that from somewhere because he sure came in humble. So you have to identify that stuff and prevent that from happening. That was a big red flag for Hype. And then we turn around and let the Boo Carter stuff happen. Like a couple months later. You have to have control. You have to. You can't let players run the asylum. You could be a player's coach. There's all kind of players coaches around the country, but you got to have discipline, and we don't have it. We don't have the discipline. We don't have the toughness. This offseason will tell us what we need to do, what we need to know about Heupel. Is he closer to being Butch, Dooley, or Cornbread? Or is his trajectory closer to being Fulmer and get this program back on track? Fulmer? Don't disrespect my coach like that. Coach Fulmer's a Hall of Famer. Coach Fulmer won a national championship. Josh Heupel ain't nowhere close to Coach Fulmer. There's a lot of work for Josh Heupel to do to get to Coach Fulmer's level. I don't know where Heupel's no Dooley. He's no Cornbread, no Pruitt. If I had to pick out of the three, Heupel is at the same crossroads that Butch Jones was around 2015, 2016. Same crossroads.
Similar crossroads.
Similar crossroads. It's not the exact same because it's not the exact same situation. They're not the same coach, but similar crossroads where you lost a little control of your program with your locker room. You got to get rid of some dudes. You got to replace some people. And if you do it, you can turn this thing around. Because 2016 and 15 was an underachieving year. Even though, hey, you won 8 games, you won 9 games. Remember what it was before Butch? Remember what it was with Dooley. Remember what it was with Lane. Left after one season. So folks are like, oh well, you're right. Let me just be okay with getting blown out by Vanderbilt. So it happened again. It happened in 16. Bush didn't make the right decisions. The team fell apart in 2017. The rest is history. Josh Heupel is at similar crossroads at this very point. So I would say probably closer to Bush than any other guys. Do our players care more about NIL than winning? I don't know that. I think our players care about winning. Again, I think it's easy to jump on the players. The players are listening to the coaches who will coach them. The players are allowed to practice the way they've been practicing. Ben, you was down there in the press conference after the game. Joey Aguilar had the most damning quote to me of the whole press conference. Do you remember what he said? Do you agree?
Yes, he essentially said that there are days where they don't practice hard enough or practice with the correct energy.
You have a quarterback that spent his time at App State, Diablo College, and a couple practices at UCLA, come up in here, and this is no offense to Joe Aguilar, and tell you that you don't even practice hard enough. How embarrassing is that? But Joey didn't have to say it because we saw it on the football field on Saturdays. We saw the consistent mistakes and how we continue to beat ourselves and how we continue to get blown out the ball and lose in the trenches. We all saw it. So Joey didn't have to say it. I'm just glad that someone was finally transparent enough and just let it go. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Morning, Swain. Morning, Ben. This is Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
So I think what you said about Joey now kind of hits everything. You know, he hadn't even been here a year, and he can see the practice habits aren't what they need to be. So my opinion is they have more of an identity and a culture crisis than anything. I mean, I think you can sit there and say, you know, Banks needs to go and this, that, and the other, but I think, you know,
it's deeper than that.
Having the right culture and everybody bought in, and you know, being tough and having practices that actually are beneficial to you on game day, and I think all of that plays into to everything else. And you know, I think watching on Saturdays, there's no way you can come away with anything other than we're just not a physically tough football team, and until that gets fixed, nothing's going to get fixed.
Yep. It don't matter what coordinator you're bringing here, offensively or defensively. But if the mentality doesn't change, you're going to be soft again with better, cute-looking plays on offense and a better-looking scheme on defense. But you're still going to get blown out the ball. You're still going to make dumb decisions and have, you know, terrible when it's time to say it's 3rd and 12, we are in field goal range. We're about to force a field goal. This is not the time to get a 15-yard penalty and hit the quarterback late and let the quarterback throw a touchdown the next play. And it danger for the time, and this is a damning quote too. And I'm really not trying to like just hammer on Josh Heupel. I'm not, because I like Josh Heupel. But I'm giving you examples of things he has to change. Josh Heupel was asked about that play. Josh Heupel said he didn't even see it. He was with the offense. I'm going to need Josh Heupel to have someone, offense coordinator, that he trusts so he can be a head coach and watch the game and manage the game.
Yeah. I think that situation needs to get figured out, and I think that's really more important than a lot of other coaching staff things that people have brought up or seen is the biggest issue. But there's a lot to figure out, and I think if he don't make changes, I don't like to make changes just for the sake of making changes. But I think at this point, if he doesn't make the right changes, he's just putting a target more on his back coming into next year. So thanks for taking my call. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, Ben, let me go back to the text box. The schedule has been very favorable the last 2 years. Next year, in the pivotal year, the schedule gets brutal. Not many gimmies next year. Yes, correct. Charge of all. We've been having this mentality not being tough talk for 5 years. No, I haven't been talking about this for 5 years. I mean, the entire staff needs to be overhauled, starting with the head man. Huh? If if you overhaul the whole staff, starting with the head man, you're suggesting that the head man gets fired? I don't understand that. If he doesn't evolve or do what's needed, then he's not the answer. Offense was better this year against bad football teams, with the exception of Georgia. I'm not going to even go on the defense there. It's no point in talking about the defense. The defense was terrible. It is what it is. And Charge of All is right. The offense was better this year versus Georgia. That's really it that matters. When you break it down, they were better against Georgia this year. I don't care about stats that look pretty. I don't care. And it seems like we care a lot about that. Let's put Joey back in so he can get his 200 yards for the streak. That's cute. That's great. I care about what we do against good teams. Butch Jones cared about trying to spin numbers to make it look good, to be able to market. That's not what we need to be doing. It's about what you do versus good teams. And against good teams, offensively, we wasn't good enough. I don't care about the national ranking. I don't care about having a receiver go for 1,000 yards. I don't care about that. Was this offense good enough when it mattered against good teams this year? The answer is no. Am I wrong, Ben?
You are absolutely correct.
I mean, I'm trying to be fair.
They've won. They've beaten one good team the last 2 years. Alabama. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Alabama was a good team. They was.
Yeah, but they were. But that you should not only have one good win in 2 seasons.
Correct.
Which is my point earlier, to where the whole 9-win, 10-win season stuff is like there's an asterisk there, because there's legitimate context with the fact that Tennessee has caught a break with how favorable the schedule has panned out, with some of these teams just being abysmal and having to go through head coaching changes.
It's Butch Jones, bro. It is Butch Jones. 2016. He promoted the fact that they won 8 or 9 games. This is when Georgia and Florida and all these teams were beating themselves, and they had not made big hires, and they were down, and we failed to take advantage of it. But was talking about how you won 9 games, man. This is the first time since then we did this, and we haven't done this since then. And again, you're comparing us to the worst times to try to build your argument, build your case, when you know dang well we haven't played well. If you're using the eye test, and here we are again in 2024, 2025, despite going to the playoffs last year, backing in with a soft schedule, and offensively not looking good. And then here we go in 2025, when this was supposed to be the year. Remember when Nico was being recruited in 2022? Remember? It's like, oh, man. Whew. That 25 season, that's going to be the year, because Nico's going to be a redshirt freshman, or it's going to be his 3rd year in the program. This is going to be the championship year run. This is going to be the year. This wasn't the year. So now you're like, we're going into year 6. What do you do? That's the frustration. That's the fear, because you understand that the schedule is going to get harder. And I think that's
we will see what Josh Heupel does over the next month. I do think he deserves a wait and see approach before folks land on their final thought of him, and whether or not he can take that next step and determine whether or not he has hit his ceiling at Tennessee. I will say that him not pursuing the Penn State job, I think is a good sign. I don't know how you feel about that. I can't hear you, but now I can. I think if Josh Heupel were truly soft, he would have pursued that job more.
If he was soft.
Yes. Because he'd be running from expectations here.
Man, the expectations are harder at Penn State. They fired a coach that went to the semifinals last year. They fired a coach who's achieved more than Josh Heupel.
But the thought, everybody's thought with him, those who were talking about Josh Heupel should go to Penn State, or better say it, Josh Heupel. They were wondering if Josh Heupel would consider Penn State so he could start his clock over, because folks were the temperature was starting to get a little hot on him in Knoxville. So some thought that, okay, maybe he tries to go get the Penn State job to restart, get a fresh start, and in the Big Ten, you theoretically have an easier path to the playoffs because the conference is not as deep as it is in the SEC. So there were some out there that were wondering if he would try and pursue that job to get away from some of the more difficult things you have to deal with at Tennessee, mostly being in the SEC.
Hey, man, if you don't want high expectations, you should go coach in the Sun Belt.
Well, that's my point of my very initial comment. I think it's a good thing that he comes out and tells Chris Lowe that, like, I'm not – that he wasn't running from the expectations at Tennessee.
I just don't think saying that you're not running away from expectations at Tennessee and linking it to Penn State, I don't think that makes sense, because Penn State's expectations are more. Like, just because people say, oh, well, it's best to go to Penn State and restart the clock. Bro, in year one, the expectations will be as heavy as they will be for Tennessee in year 6. They fired James Franklin after going to the Final Four.
I understand that, but that is not my point that I am making. Like, what do you think about, like, Buzz Williams, the basketball coach, is notorious for every 5 to 6 years leaving for a different job before the school that he is at begins to grow restless with him and tries to fire him. I personally think that's a little soft.
Yeah, he likes.
Would you agree?
Before it gets when he starts to get stale a little bit, he likes to leave. I think it is a little soft. I get it.
And that is the point that I am making about Heupel not doing the same thing that Buzz Williams is notorious for. There's this chatter of Josh Heupel should go do that before people at Tennessee get restless. And it's theoretically an easier path to the playoffs because you don't have as much competition on your schedule. You're not playing in the SEC to where you've got 8 or 9 games against legitimate teams every week, and you don't get a break here with Illinois and all these other lame teams in the Big Ten. Like, I think it's a good thing that he's not shying away and running from the expectations of Tennessee.
I mean, I guess I'm not going to push back too hard on it. I'm just not going to give Josh Heupel credit for saying, hey, man, I'd rather make $9 million a year here at Tennessee than taking $10 million maybe at Penn State. Like, the expectations are going to be high regardless. And, like, if he wants to coach in the or in the SEC or in the Big Ten, and, you know, it was good to hear from him and hear him say that to Chris Lowe and say he's not going to run, you know, from the expectations. But it sounds good. Like, this is no different than post-game press conferences after their loss. Like, it just sounds good.
Yes, it does, and there needs to be action that backs it up. And if I want to be on, if I'm the only one on this island on the show this morning, I'm comfortable living on this island. I think Josh Heupel is smart enough, aware enough, a good enough football coach to where he will back it up with action. We will see what happens this month. But, and again, I'm fine with being on that island, if I'm the only one on the show this morning, that's fine. He's not dumb. He's smart. He is aware. He's not unaware. Just because he doesn't give the media Lane Kiffin or Tony Vitello level quotes, that doesn't mean that he's not aware or not going to make the necessary changes moving forward. He needs to back it up with action, and I think he will, because I think he has common sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good morning. 865-255-03.
Hey guys, this is DR Vault. Now, Ben, on this island, is there no internet access and TV? Because you have to watch us again.
No, you don't have to. Tennessee is on this island. They're playing reruns from the '98 season.
Oh, okay. I'll even take reruns from when Swain guy played. Honestly, just not this team. At least they cared back then.
There are some reruns of the 22 team as well. The win at LSU, the win against Alabama.
Okay. I'm in on this then. I'll join you on that island gladly. Swain, if we were in a church this morning, I would be kicked out for screaming amen every 5 seconds. You're preaching the truth. The culture is what I worry about, because everybody's talking about Banks and all these other people, but it is, man. It's like rotten to the core. And we always complain about Heupel never saying anything at his press conference. When he said he didn't see that happen, I think that says a lot. At least he was truthful on that. And it's very concerning.
Yeah, like Joey Halsley has to be good enough to where Heupel can disconnect and manage the football game better. He has to be able to do that. So if Halsley's not good enough, then you got to do what you got to do with Halsley. Or Halsley got to be better. Like Josh Heupel has to lock in on being a head coach and not offensive coordinator. You're not offensive coordinator anymore. You're a head coach. And there's things that happen during the game where you have to be able to manage the situation. And it's just a bad quote when he said he didn't, like he wasn't seeing it because he's with their offense. And this ain't the first time like he has been removed from the sideline because he's working with the offense. So, like when you look at Lane Kiffin and you look at Kalen DeBoer, man, them dudes ain't holding their offense coordinator's hand.
No. Well, wasn't
Or
that
is he saying that because he didn't want to throw Jalen McMurray under the bus?
I mean, why lie about that?
I thought it was a very non-answer.
I mean, but that
He asked if he got an explanation from the referee, and he said, "I didn't truly see the play. They just said he hit him in the head." So I took it as him not wanting to throw Jalen McMurray under the bus.
Man, that don't make any sense. Why would he? If you saw it, you could still not throw him under the bus. You could just say, "And who play? What are you talking about? That's the problem. That is the problem with how soft we are. He made a terrible play. His play changed the entire football game. It changed everything. So who cares about throwing him under the bus? We saw it. It was a bad play.
It was, but we know how Josh Heupel is with the media. He's not going to give you what you want to hear.
Well, that would be stupid for him to say that because he didn't want to throw Jalen McMurray under the bus. We all saw it.
Yes, I agree, but we know how Josh Heupel conducts himself in these press conferences. He's going to say as little as possible and get out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah, I get that, but again, that's goofy. All right, go ahead.
I bet if you asked him off the record, he would say something different.
Josh Heupel probably ain't gonna want to talk to me for a while.
Heupel's just so non-confrontational. I mean, it goes to, even with the officials. That's what I love about Barnes. He will chew some rear end out. And I feel like our team it kind of reflects on them, man. Like, I think my biggest problem, Swain, I brought up teams you played on. Y'all gave a damn. And it just sucks all the time and money we spend as fans, and you watch that slop out there, and it's like they don't care. And it's getting old, man. It's making me not care, honestly. I know it's a different culture. Y'all were different players back then, but at least, and I was younger then too. At least when I watched y'all, I'm like, man, these guys really bleed orange. And there, it's just like waiting on their next transaction.
Yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way, man.
I'm just down bad, guys.
Yeah,
well, I
totally
hear from you, man. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, guys.
I hate you feel that way. That sucks. Go ahead, Ben.
I was just gonna agree with D'Arval that there are. I mean, you hear about players asking for more money, and they're the players that you would think would be most loyal to Tennessee because they're from the state of Tennessee, and it's that there's just no loyalty in college sports anymore. There's just not. I mean, I was talking to my buddy the other day about this. I mean, Denzel Aberdeen, the basketball player who transferred from Florida to Kentucky, is the greatest example of that. He played a lot of minutes, won a national championship, is from the state of Florida, was going to be a starter for Florida this year, and transferred to Kentucky. I'm not saying every single player is like this, obviously, but the vast majority of these players are absolutely just trying to find the biggest bag, and they have every right to do that. I'm not saying that they don't. A lot of these guys are not going to play in the NFL, and I don't blame them for maximizing their earning potential. But I mean, you start to get into the offseason conversations, and it's like, okay, this guy balled out this year, and it's going to take this number to keep him because he balled out this year. Because because he was a 3-star player, you took a chance on him. He balled out in his first or second year with the program, and now you're going to have to really pay to keep him from going to one of your rivals.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just that speaks to D'Arval's point that there's no loyalty in the game anymore.
I mean, hey, I don't care if a player does that. Just play hard, man. Just play. Just earn your money. Like, hey, you worked your tail off to put yourself in a position to work at Rocket Top Insider, and then boom, you went to VolQuest, and then boom, you went 247. Because it was a great opportunity, and like, ain't no problem with that at all. If a player is a 3-star player and he balls out, and I give you an example of Braylon Staley. Braylon Staley bet on himself. Braylon Staley had the best football season of any football player on this team this season. He had the best season. And it's time for him to get paid. He deserves it. And so if he goes to the board and he doesn't feel like he's getting paid what he should be getting paid, and money is that important to him, then he has a right to leave. Because we don't know how much a team is going to value him. My problem is not the fact that these guys getting paid. My problem is the fact that you're just not playing good. But again, most of my frustration is not with the players, because at the end of the day, man, the players are doing what they're told to do. They're doing what they're told to do. They're not being led in the right direction. That's my biggest problem. So I'm not putting a lot of weight on the players. I'm putting most of my weight on Josh Heupel because he's the head coach. He's the head coach, man.
How many guys do you feel like played for the Power T on the side of their helmet on Saturday?
I don't know.
Well, all these.
I can't care.
But that was D'Arval's point, is that 10 to 15 years ago, we knew everybody that was stepping on the field in college athletics was playing for the love of the game and their brother next to them and the school that they signed up to play for. And now in today's new age of college athletics, I'm not saying that it's wrong that these players are pursuing money. I'm just saying I'm not going to blame people for missing the old days where it genuinely felt like they were playing for the logo on the side of their helmet and their brother next to them.
Let me ask you this then. If Tennessee was 10-2, and Tennessee was a tough football team, and Tennessee was living up to their potential, and everyone on the team was just here for the bag, and but they played hard, would we be having this conversation right now?
No.
So, man, that's my point. Like, we all loved 2001 Tennessee football team, and I know I love watching us and watching Kelly Washington, number 15. But you know what I heard when I got here about Kelly Washington? Dude came here from minor leagues. He wasn't going to class. He made it clear. I'm here to go to the league. That's it. I'm here to go to the league. So, hey, man, he used Tennessee to get to the league. I haven't seen Kelly Washington back. Ever. I've never seen him in person. But do I really care? No, because, like, he played hard and he made plays. Like, if he was playing today, he would be doing his job. And so, like, I understand in a perfect world, I get it. In a perfect world, as a fan, you want your players to feel how you feel about the team you're rooting for. I get it, in a perfect world. But that's not the world anymore. So, at least, if you're getting paid $500,000 or $250,000 or $100,000, play hard. Like, do what you're paid to do. Live up to your contract. If everyone just lived up to their contract, whoo, man, we would be smoking. And another thing about that, we got to give the right contracts. Stop overpaying dudes. There's some dudes on this team right now that's about to ask for more money and don't deserve a red cent more than what they made last year. And Tennessee's going to make a decision on if they're going to bend the knee or they're going to say, holla at you and let them go. You got to pay the right dudes the right amount as well, too. So that's my take on it. I don't care. If you want to use Tennessee, fine. That's what we're here for. But live up to your contract. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I mean, it's really that simple.
Just live up to your contract. That's all.
Just live up to your contract. But I do also believe that you mentioned the word complacency, that some players aren't complacent when they do get this big bag.
That's true. But again, you got to give dudes the right amount. You got to give dudes the right amount, and you got to have a backbone to stand up and go, no, I ain't doing it. Like you got to have it. All right, I got to go back to the phones. Lines are jammed. This person's next. Good morning.
Guys, if you're the CEO of a company and you have known weaknesses, you know what you do? You hire people to shore up those weaknesses. Heupel came in, nice guy, but he was also known to not be that great of a recruiter, which is why he needs a general manager. Other thing is, and Ben omitted this when he was talking about, we pretty much have the same staff as 22. Who do we not have? We no longer have the a-hole offensive coordinator.
No Golish.
That staff is soft. They don't have anybody who will discipline these guys. Players respect discipline. Look at Rick Barnes. Why do people go to Rick Barnes? Because they want the coaching. If you're sitting back and dreaming that it's still 22 and thinking, we'll just roll the ball out there and do what we do, everybody's caught up to Heupel's offense. Now, I know he made some changes this year, but how long did that last?
It was for Georgia game, and that was about it.
I mean, Heupel's going to have to get help. He's going to have to get some serious help. And if he needs to bring somebody in to be the a-hole fall guy, then that's exactly what he needs to do to get this team back on track. Because until then, I don't care if they're here for the money or whatever. The fact of the matter is they're going out there every Saturday representing the university I graduated from.
I didn't know you graduated.
Regardless. Yeah, I graduated. I got a diploma and everything. It's cute.
Man, that's shocking. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
We need to laugh a little bit today.
Oh, no. That game was so embarrassing. When Vanderbilt went up 14, I left. I took my family and we left.
Oh, I'm jealous.
and I never do that. I've sat there through. I remember one year, for some reason, we scheduled Miami for homecoming and got our brains beat in, and I sat there through the whole thing.
That was 02.
It was 02. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why we scheduled Miami for homecoming, I still don't know.
Yeah, we haven't done it again.
But I've seen some of the worst losses. I've heard Alabama playing that Yammer Jammer, whatever the hell it is, song, and Bama fans take over our stadium. And I still sat there through that. Saturday, I'd had enough. And it makes me question if Heupel doesn't get serious about this, whether or not I'm going back over there.
I understand.
Boston. I love Tennessee. I love Tennessee football. It's an enjoyment. It's a very wonderful part of my life. But I mean, who wants to pay those prices and sit over there in that? With an AD who keeps wanting to jack up prices and thinks he can figure out logistics of game day traffic and all that, which has become an absolute nightmare this year.
Has to be better.
Don't worry, the entertainment district's coming though.
Oh yeah, because I really care about that.
Yeah, nobody cares about that, but
care less about that. That's not going to enhance my game day experience in any way, shape, or form.
That's a whole nother conversation, man.
I know.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I'm serious. If Heupel doesn't make some serious changes this offseason, a lot of fans are going to check out.
Correct.
Because they've had 2 years of a soft schedule. Yes, they backed into the playoffs last year, and I keep hearing this is just like Butch Jones all over again. I keep hearing all these people say, "Well, they're doing this. Look at their scoring efficiency." You know, well, he went to a playoff last year. That's got nothing to do with now.
Yeah. I'm with you, Volstorm. All right, I got to keep it moving.
All right. Guys, before I go, just remember, if you don't address the problem, you're the problem. See you, boys.
All righty. Good morning.
Morning, Swain.
What's up?
Hey, man, it's Dustin.
What's up, Dustin?
Well, looks like we're going to have this conversation, aren't we?
Kind of forced to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm no expert and don't claim to be, but I'm just a fan. But I'll tell you this much. Last year, I went to the last game of the season in Columbus, Ohio. And I spent pretty good money to go watch us get our butts handed to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I left that night, and I thought, man, I've never been so embarrassed. I've never seen Tennessee get pushed around like this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had an opportunity to buy tickets this past week to go to the game. But as you know, I've called you the last 2 weeks. Said, boy, we better not lose to Vanderbilt. I just don't feel good about it. So thank God Columbus, Ohio last year put enough sense in me. I didn't waste my money to go watch that. But I watched it on TV, and I was more embarrassed watching that than I was sitting in the 20-degree temperatures in the horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio. This wasn't Ohio State pushing us around. This wasn't a national championship team. This was freaking Vanderbilt.
A playoff team. But yes.
Well, playoff.
I think they're going to get left out.
Listen, I don't care if they make a playoff or not.
But it's Vanderbilt. I get it. I'll shut up. It's Vanderbilt. I get
it. And here's my problem. You can tell me if I'm wrong, okay? And matter of fact, I want you to. If I'm wrong, tell me. Football, and I may take some heat for this, but football is a game where you have to have a certain edge to be able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
In Little League football, when you first start playing, the weak and the ones that are afraid get weeded out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go on, competition gets tougher. If you make it to high school football, that competition's tough for those type of kids. If you go to college, you step up. If you go to the NFL, you're at the top of the food chain. You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's a step up, but the game is physical.
Yep.
And you, as a player, if you don't have a certain edge, a certain I call it craziness, a little
freakish to you in your mind. Because you've got to want to hurt somebody at some point in time.
Correct.
And that's what football is. It's violence. It's controlled violence in between 53 and a third yards and a 100-yard football field. Okay, and so it's controlled. And here's my problem, and here's where I want to get to. How many times did Diego Pavia run the ball the other night?
20 times.
20 times.
Mm-hmm.
How many yards did Diego Pavia run the ball for the other night?
171.
171.
Mm-hmm.
How many days have they heard about how Vanderbilt wanted to come up here and whoop that butt?
Probably, 180 days at least?
At least half a year.
At least, yeah.
At least half a year.
Probably
You've known
longer than that.
You've known for long enough that at the end of the year, that little brother was coming up here, and he was saying, I'm going to whoop your tail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have not one. Listen, he rushed the ball 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
And not one time when he got off the turf of Shield Watkins Field did he come up with a freaking limp.
Mm-mm.
We had nobody on that field with the mindset of you have ran your mouth and I'm going to take your knee. Now, you may not like that. That may be awful to some people. Oh, my God, I can't believe he said that. That boy should have come off limping the other night. If you cared about yourself, about your teammates, about your coach, about the 102,000 people sitting in that stadium, about the millions watching on TV, about anything about that university, that boy should have come up with a limp, and he should have never struck a Heisman post. The post he should have been striking was an arm around his trainer limping off the freaking field. We had nobody with the mindset of I'm going to make him pay. Instead, you know what I saw? He was looking for people. He looked to the left.
Look to the right.
He looked to the right. And he seen nobody coming, and he thought, I'm going to hit the checkerboards.
Correct.
There was a play where T-Lander come around, did like a loopy-loop, like a fighter jet, missed him completely, and Pavia pulled away from him like he had jet burners, and T-Lander was a freaking prop plane. We are slow. We are undisciplined. We are lack of that. I'm going to light your rear end up. And I guess what's so frustrating is and here's one. I want you to tell me if I'm wrong, Jason. I feel like at the University of Tennessee, on each level, offense and defense, you ought to have at least one 5-star player. Now listen to me. I said 5-star player. I'm not talking about the stars that the recruiting rankings give you. I'm talking about that 5-star player that when you line up on the offensive line, the defensive line, a wide receiver, a running back, a defensive back, a corner, your quarterback, you ought to have a kid that when the other team is game planning, they said, oh, my God, we've got to go against this guy. You need one at each level. And at the University of Tennessee, you have the funds, you have the amenities, you have everything you need to go get that type of player at each level on the field. Am I wrong?
No.
Then it is time. You all was just talking about loyalty. There's no more loyalty in football. Yeah, there is. Over at University of Tennessee, you'll find it. Josh Heupel. He's loyal to the team, to his staff. It is time to get unloyal. Because if he does not make some changes, he's going to be the next one that's walked out the door. And I hate to say that. It's time to talk about it. It's time to talk about it. Because you cannot listen, we didn't just get beat by Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt just didn't win the game. You remember the week before we talked and said, oh, man, it was good to see Tennessee make Florida take it. The way we want, they had to, everything we wanted to do, Florida had to take it.
It's us.
Vanderbilt just did that to us. Let that sink in. Not Florida, not Alabama, not Georgia.
Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just made us take it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach. Listen, I don't know the fix. I do know this. Like I said, I'm not an expert. It is time you find some of the right players. Nick Saban said on College Game Day, I think 2 years ago, you got to pay the right players.
That's right. That's what
When you
about.
got to go find them. Go find the kids that's got a little craziness tick about them, where they're just borderline. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Smart. You know what I mean? Just borderline, where you just might have to try to rein them back.
Yep.
And then go let them hit. And you know what? I wouldn't have been so mad about the 15-yard penalty on Pavia the other night if that boy would have just cracked him. But he got up to him, and he hit him soft.
It was a terrible
Stop.
play. It was a terrible
He
play.
bumped him. He bumped him.
Yeah. All right, man.
If you're gonna get the penalty, light him up.
We got some callers behind you,
I
man.
know you do, man.
I appreciate you.
See.
All right. All right. Last one, then we got to take a break.
Who was that just called in?
That was Dustin. Was it not, Ben? Is that Dustin? It just sounds like Justin.
Well, whoever it was,
Justin.
I'd hire him on staff tomorrow. That right there is the attitude that is needed in that building. I just great call. That golf clap, chef's kiss, whatever you want to call it, that was absolutely spot on. Here's the problem, and I hope what I'm about to say doesn't offend anyone. I think this whole playing for the power T thing is a crutch, because I think there are guys out there that are playing with school pride.
Mm-hmm.
They just shouldn't be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to a player evaluation. Nothing against the kid. He's a Tennessee kid, born and raised, and I truly believe he loves the University of Tennessee. But Jeremiah Thielander does not start at, 80% of the programs in the SEC? You've got to start evaluating this. The tape doesn't lie. People, if we as fans see this stuff, because he just mentioned it in his call. He saw it. I saw the separation too. I know he was coming from the opposite side of the line, but there was a point they were about even. And then he's at full speed, Pavia's at full speed, Pavia's pulling away. There is no play call to hide athleticism in an SEC game. Saturday night was the first time I'd say we played Vanderbilt, and that was a true SEC-style game. And that is what happened, because this staff will not – it's not just Heupel making the hard decisions with the position coaches. It's the position coaches making the hard decisions with their players. Well, this kid's a good kid. He works hard. He deserves time out there. Bull. No way. You either can do the job or you can't do the job. And if you can't do the job, we got to get someone else that can do the job. If you don't have one on staff, now I'm questioning, how are you running your room? Go back to the Syracuse game. We saw these same things against Syracuse when that running back averaged over 6 yards a carry and ran it down our throat in the second half. Everybody brushed it off. Oh, so what? We were playing conservative. Guys were nicked up. It's Syracuse. They don't survive in the SEC. This has been there for 2 years. Yes, the defense was better last year. Yes, the offense was worse. But at the end of the day, last year, your offensive line wasn't SEC caliber. It showed in multiple games. Fast forward to this year. You made some investments in the offensive line. Great. You sacrificed it on defense. The safety play, there's not a safety that we had out there this year that starts at another SEC school. No way. Turn time, he doesn't. Farouk as a freshman, no way. Caleb Beasley needs to be shown the door. And I'm sorry if this offends anybody, because they're Tennessee kids, they're born and raised. It doesn't matter where they're from once they put on the jersey and they step in between the lines. This stuff has got to stop, and this staff has to change their approach in recruiting. I'll give you an example, and I'm getting off with this. This past year, we needed to pick up a running back from high school. How many did we really go after? One guy, Hyder. That was it. Where's your backup plan? Where is it? Last year, you went after 5 offensive linemen. You landed 3. Other teams are going after 15, 20 guys. I've been calling into your show, Swain, for 2-3 years talking about this. We don't go after enough guys. That's why we overpay, because when you put all your eggs into one basket, you can't afford to miss. You don't have the opportunity to go, okay, this kid wants too much money. All right, we're going to get this other kid. He's equal talent, equal size, and we can get him for a couple $100,000 a year cheaper. We don't do that. It's laziness.
How much more money?
I don't think Heupel is much. I don't. He maybe changes some coordinators and, have some different looks. That right there is a philosophy. That's sitting down with each position coach going, okay, show me your board. How many guys are on those boards? I would love to know that question. How many guys do we go after? If we want to sign 5 offensive linemen, how many are we talking to in a class? I'd love to know that answer, because I think it's probably we have to close 60, 70%, where other schools are closing at 30%. That's why we either overpay for guys on their talent, or you end up short on numbers. Kelsey Pope, why are we taking 4 wide receivers in a class? I'd love for someone to explain that. We can't get 4 guys consistently on the field during a season. You're going to take 4 in one class? We're going to end up paying guys to go elsewhere because they're not getting opportunities. They're not getting the development. I just think there's so much that needs to change. I don't see how it can get done all at once, because these are things that have been there even when you went 10-2 back in 2022. We weren't putting in the time then. It's paying off now. Unfortunately, it's just paying off the wrong way. I'm going to hang up, listen to the rest, guys.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Guys, you can feel your energy slipping away, losing what makes you, you. It could be low testosterone. Take action now. Low T Center can help reclaim your energy with a quick and simple free T-test. Visit Low T Center and receive pharmaceutical-grade testosterone never compounded like other clinics. Experienced providers increase your testosterone to the level that is just right for you. Treatment is covered by most major insurance with affordable self-pay options available. The best you is waiting. Book your free T-test at trtmvp.com. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go: Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. Let us help.
Hey there, Swain Event fam. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Are you tired of striking out in this housing market? Feeling overwhelmed when trying to buy or sell your home? Don't let the process be an unnecessary time out. Just like the Vols, you have to keep fighting for what you want and need good teammates around you to reach your goals. Give me a call at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com and I'll help you navigate the process. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Ben, we've been doing a lot of listening, man, not a lot of talking. Last couple of minutes. thoughts on what you've heard from our callers?
I think a lot of them are spot on with their frustrations. Certainly not going to tell anybody how to feel. That is not how we operate. And I think all we can do here on December 2nd is just wait and see what Josh Heupel does. If he sits on his hands the next 2 months, then that will be telling and damning. But I think Josh Heupel is smart. I think he has common sense. They have gotten complacent the last couple of years, and sure, maybe they benefited from having Jeremy Pruitt's players, but they also brought out things in those players that Jeremy Pruitt wasn't able to bring out. So they were. My point is that they were able to do something right in 22. It's not like Josh Heupel got lucky. So my point is that it's in there. Can he recapture it? I talked greatly about his culture in 22. I thought he did an exceptional job navigating that schedule from week to week, from the LSU game to the Florida game to the Alabama game. College game day was in town, back-to-back weeks or 2 out of 3 weeks or whatever it was. And I thought he did a great job of navigating all the noise around those big games and just continued to win. So it's in there. It's not that he's not capable of it, but his offense has been figured out. Nobody wanted to hear that it was a gimmick offense when he first got here. But that offense has been figured out. Adjustments need to continue to be made. The defense was just absolutely horrendous this year. Changes need to be made, and there's off the field stuff with the discipline and strength staff and things that you have touched on as well that need to be changed.
Can I do this?
And
Can I do this with you?
Of course.
Can we? Because I'm writing this stuff down right now. Can we highlight the biggest things that Josh Heupel will have to address in the offseason? We don't have to necessarily rank them. We can if you want. I'm thinking like 10 more minutes and then we'll wrap up the show, if that's okay. But like,
no, I'm glad that you are going this direction, because I've been ready to go this direction for the last hour. I'm tired of hammering on Heupel. Not that it's not deserved, but I'm just more of the mindset of like, okay, there's an issue, there's a flaw. How do we fix it? That's where I'm at. It's how do we fix it? And I want to go back to 847 where Brian Hunsucker had a message of changes he would like to see, and this can be our starting point. For Brian Hunsucker, number one, a new defensive coordinator, even if it means a whole new defensive staff. Number two is new strength and conditioning coach. This is a soft program, and it starts in the weight room. Number three is Josh needs an offensive coordinator he can trust to call plays so he can be a CEO head coach. Game mismanagement is an issue. And then lastly, portal aggression. Number four, the roster is at its best since Fulmer, but it's still not good enough or at a championship level. And I would say that list is about where I'm at. He listed those things off 1 through 4. I don't know if he was just spitballing off the top of his head as things were coming to his mind, or if that was the order of importance for Brian. I would say the two biggest things for me would be the hiring an offensive coordinator, or giving Joey Halzle more of the reins on offense, whatever he deems the right move, whatever he feels like he needs to do to be more of a CEO. I feel like that's number one or number two on my list.
That's number one?
Yeah, because I think if he's acting more as a CEO, then the strength staff issue falls under that. The defensive issues fall under that. To where, as you kind of touched on with the Jalen McMurray stuff, if he was over on the sideline and truly not paying attention because he was so worried about the offense, then all these other fires that we are discussing, then he is able to commit more time to them. At least that's my thought on it. Maybe that's the wrong way of thinking about it. But I think if he's more of a CEO as a head coach than an offensive-minded head coach, then all those other things that we have talked about just kind of take care of themselves. And then I want to, it's something that we have talked about throughout the offseason. Anytime you talk about Tennessee having a general manager or Josh Heupel needing a general manager, it's thrown back at you that they do have a general manager. They just don't talk about it publicly. I want to see him make a move like Florida did, going out and hiring a bona fide general manager, and like some of these other schools have done, to where it's somebody with general manager experience or something along those lines. NFL experience, like true experience in managing a roster, I think would go a long ways as well.
I think the number one thing, I don't think. The number one thing for me is addressing the culture. When people talk about culture, they automatically think of, well, in this case for Tennessee, it was so bad under Butch Jones, and it was a hot mess. And Heupel did a good job of improving the culture when he got here. Absolutely, he did. But the culture right now is not good. What happened with Boo Carter shouldn't have happened. That's an issue. So we have a culture of undiscipline because offensively, we continue to beat ourselves. We're not mentally tough enough. Defensively, we do the same thing. So we are undisciplined as a program. We are also soft. And it doesn't matter what coordinators you bring in here. You can bring in Chip Kelly. You can bring in the best DC in America. It doesn't matter. If your players are soft, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. So strength and condition needs to be addressed because we got guys getting hurt all over the place. And we're not tough enough. So that has to be fixed first. I think you need to address your coordinators, whether that is you trust Halsey enough to be the OC or you don't trust him enough to be the OC. But clearly the in-game management has taken some steps back from years prior. And it's glaring. It's an issue. Tim Banks' contract was up last year. Josh Heupel could have let him go last year if he wanted to. He chose not to. Tim Banks has a new contract. So you're going to have to hope that he leaves on his own, or you're going to have to fire him, which is going to cost more money that you didn't have to spend if you would have let him go last year. Right or wrong, that's the situation. Okay? You have to be better evaluating in the portal. And it goes back to your GM. It don't matter if it's a GM title or not. All I know is we're not where we need to be from a roster standpoint. And Florida just made a power move with hiring a former GM of an NFL team. Oklahoma made a power move last year, hiring Jim Nagy, who was the director of the Senior Bowl. And look at their roster right now, and look where they are. They're a playoff team. They're a playoff team that's in position to win more than one game. They ain't backing in. They backed in Knoxville and smacked us around. They backed in Tuscaloosa and smacked them around. They ain't back into the playoffs. They earned it. And so whether you go get a GM or not, what we doing right now has to be modified with how we look at players in the portal. And I wrote this down not because the quarterback was a problem this year, because, you had a quarterback that threw for more yards than anybody else in the conference, even though turnovers was an issue from an interception standpoint. But, y'all, Heupel has a quarterback issue that he has to address on top of all this stuff. You going to play a first-year quarterback with this schedule and how sorry this defense is?
And you have questions along the offensive line going into the next season.
So if Lance Hurd comes back, who is currently playing left tackle, David Sanders, he gonna play right tackle, or is he moving to left tackle? And you don't think David Sanders probably gonna want some more money? You don't think that Lance Hurd probably gonna want some more money? You gonna say yes to both of them, no matter how much they ask for? But That's on down the list. Quarterback for me is top 5.
Have you formed a strong opinion on what they should do at the quarterback position of whether they should go get somebody or make sure they don't run off George and Faison? Because that's
I don't
something.
think I run off Faison.
I don't think it would run off Faison either. I don't think it would either.
Because Faison was hurt a lot of this year, and
yes.
Faison should be okay with redshirting.
Yes.
But you're paying Faison a lot of money to come here, and you're going to be paying him a lot of money to not play if he doesn't play. But the unfortunate situation, and again, I feel like we mismanaged this, that George McIntyre only threw the ball twice against New Mexico State, didn't play against UAB. That was a issue. You don't know what you have in George. You have no clue.
And I don't know that I want to find out in the deep end next year. Just because, yeah, sure, it may work out favorably, but what if it doesn't?
What if it doesn't?
That would be my concern. And look, you have to treat this like an NFL roster and NFL free agency to where you're not going to give this player too much money, and you got to set a value on different players on different positions when managing essentially a salary cap. But at the quarterback position, Swain, I think going into next year, I don't think, because we have so much money already tied up into George and Faison and we don't want all that money sitting on the bench, I don't think that can be a determining factor of whether or not you go get a transfer quarterback. I don't.
So I'll say this in closing.
And I don't think going out and getting a Trinidad Chambliss in terms of the FCS quarterback, putting a Band-Aid on the situation is the right move either. I think you either go get a transfer quarterback, a bona fide transfer quarterback, or you ride with George and keep your fingers crossed.
Ben, I am rooting for Josh Heupel. I'm also holding him accountable for us being in this position and us getting out of this position. And we are in this position because you didn't address it like you could have 2 or 3 years ago. You kicked the can down the road and put Band-Aids on stuff. This is a lot to have to address, Ben, in the offseason. This is a lot. This is a ton. And if you're Danny White, you're asking a lot from people because you understand what needs to happen to be able to compete in this landscape. That's why I don't make jokes about, Danny White raising money, because
you need every penny.
You need it. You need it to compete. I don't think people understand, and maybe Adam Sparks' article about NIL can shed some light, but you need this money to be able to compete. Problem is, football is not spending it the right way on the right players, and that has to change. And if you're Danny White, you're like, yo, man, I'm giving you the money that you need to be successful, and you're not being successful. We just dropped a lot of money for Nate Ament. More money than we have with any other basketball player. You dropped a lot of money for Jacoby Gillespie. And so far, they have been worth it. And Rick Barnes' program, he ain't out here wasting money. His culture has been positive. It's been right for a long time. A long time. And so you got women's basketball, you got football, you getting money, but the play don't look like it. The play don't look like it. And you have to address those things. Just because you got money, it doesn't take the place of recruiting players by building relationships. Because if you're not willing to build a relationship with your players and recruit your players, and you just think that you're just going to outspend everybody you're costing your school more money. You're taking away opportunities to get 2 or 3 other players because you're overspending for players that you haven't recruited hard enough. You haven't spent time to recruit them and build a relationship. Jacoby Gillespie took less money to come to Tennessee. Nate Ament, I don't know what the offer was at Duke, but Tennessee beat out Duke for Nate Ament. That should,
And Kentucky and Louisville.
You got to have more examples of that. Everyone has money. Everyone's going to spend a lot of money. But you need more examples of guys wanting to come to Tennessee because you're going to help them be a better football player. You can't have players saying, well, I'm going to go to Tennessee because, I don't know if they're going to help me be a better football player, but they offer me $100,000 more than other school. You can't win like that. You can't. So Josh Heupel has a problem on his hands. And he has a lot of stuff to address. And Thursday, we're going to have a conversation about who you playing the quarterback in the bowl game. Because that's another question.
And that one's uncomfortable, too.
This season was uncomfortable, Ben. Saturday was uncomfortable. So we're going to have to be uncomfortable.
Well, and the other part of the quarterback conversation that you and I have not had is, do you stick around and hope Joey gets an extra year?
We'll have the conversation on Thursday. There's going to be some opt-outs. There's going to be some guys that won't play in the bowl game. They shouldn't. And I'll be glad because let me shut up. So Thursday we'll have that conversation. We knew this was going to happen if we lost to Vanderbilt. And these things have been brewing. These are things that we talked about, but people probably ignored it because it didn't blow up in our face like it did on Saturday. But, Ben, you and I are not surprised that we're here, okay? People in the know, we're not surprised that we're here. The difference is we decided to talk about it a little bit before everybody else. And here we are. Uphill, I think it's an uphill battle for Heupel, man, to fix all these things and just be in a position next year where you compete for a college football playoff berth. This is a lot of stuff with a difficult schedule next year. This is a lot. But I hope he's able to do it. Man, I hope he got some good people around him he can listen to that tells him good information that gets him where he needs to be. This is a lot. But I like Heupel. I'm rooting for him.
It's a lot, but it's doable. It's just going to take him being more aggressive than we have seen him be and having more of a killer instinct than we have seen him have.
Ben, he's going to have to be – I called you Josh Heupel.
I wish I was Josh Heupel with his bank account.
He's going to have to be something that he hasn't been before to fix this. And he's been the same person for 45 plus years, however he is. I don't know how old Josh Heupel is, but he's in his 40s. He's been the same person his entire life. But he's going to have to change some things if he wants to turn this around.
47.
And I don't know if he can do it or not. I hope he does whatever it takes to be successful because I want to see him win here and I like him as a person. But man, sometimes you get stuck in your ways. And you're like, yo, I'm not changing for nobody. I go down being myself. And that might be what he does, but he's gonna have to change some people around him, and I think he's gonna have to change within himself too to be a different head coach. Because the discipline on this team is not good enough. We're soft as a program.
Yep. Tim Banks can't be the only change.
Yeah. Correct.
That's the easy change to make.
All right, Ben McKee. Jennifer Moore's Keller Williams Realty Group. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, she helped Ben McKee. She's helped former players, current players, future players with real estate investments. Ben has moved twice using Jennifer Morris, the Keller Williams Realty Group. She can help you as well. We are full in Knoxville, but if you roll with Jennifer Morris, we'll allow it. We will allow you to move to Knoxville only if you work with Jennifer Morris. How about that?
Yes, to all you California folks, it's not. This is an awful place to live. It's ridiculous how just nasty our city is. The surrounding area is just so gross. You don't want to move here, I promise you. But if you do, reach out to Jennifer Morris.
All right, for Ben McKee, GovHawks 247, I'm Jason Swain in the Low T Center studio. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Peace and much love. We are out.